Alright, what is going on, my friends? Welcome back to the channel. It is late, 12:30 a.m. where I'm at, but this is going to be a quick podcast segment, quick rant on a few topics that are trending right now. Kevin Holland hints at retirement after the Khamzat fight, Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul, Conor McGregor response to Floyd Mayweather regarding a possible rematch in 2023. Alright, let's start with Kevin Holland. So Kevin Holland with the cryptic message on social media, in not so many words, basically hinting at retirement. He's only 29 years old. Of course, his last fight was against Khamzat Chimaev, where he got absolutely dominated. But Khamzat's really talented. The guy's a monster. Really, there's no shame in that. Styles make fights also. And Khamzat just seems to do that to everyone he faces, minus Gilbert Burns. But I think if he would have fought smarter against Burns, he would have had an easier fight. But that's a whole other topic. Back to Holland. So Holland's 29, very, very young man. He has a lot of years of competing left. Mixed martial arts record as it stands right now, 23 wins, 8 losses. He lost his last fight to Khamzat. Before that, he was on a 2-fight win streak, defeating Tim Means and Alex Oliveira. No contest against Kyle Daukaus. Back-to-back losses to Marvin Vettori and Derek Brunson. And before that, he was on a nice streak, 5-fight win streak. So what do I feel about the situation ultimately? Honestly, I think Kevin Holland is in his feelings right now. He might be serious. He might stay retired. I honestly don't think he will. He's obviously taken the loss not well. It's not a great feeling when you get dominated. You think you're at a certain level. Somebody shows you otherwise. It's kind of jarring. You could feel like a little shell-shocked after. It's like your whole perception of yourself and your reality is just shattered. That happens in fighting. That happens in training. For you guys that have spent time in the gym, you know the feeling. You think you're okay. You spar with somebody. You get your butt whooped. You roll with somebody. You get completely dominated. And it's a little bit unsettling, but ultimately is good for you. You know where you're at in the pecking order. You know you have to work on. If you're humble enough, you work on these things, you improve and become a better version of yourself. I think Holland needs time to just reflect, chill out, soak in this loss, really think about what he needs to improve on, and I think he'll come back. So those are my thoughts on that. Next topic is Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul. So of course, we saw Nate's last fight in the UFC, supposedly, allegedly, against Tony Ferguson, where he was victorious, tapping out Tony with a guillotine choke. Nate stated after the fight he wants to explore his options, show people how it's done in other sports. Some rumors circulating that it might be a boxing match against Jake Paul. Jake certainly said he's interested. We live in a crazy world. Stranger things have happened. Who knows, we might see this boxing match. Do I think it will garner attention? Absolutely. Only because a lot of people hate Jake Paul. They want to see him get his butt whooped. I guess he has some fans. And Nate Diaz is a big star with a lot of fans. So yeah, it would get attention. They would make some money. Many people would tune in. Who would win that boxing match? Well, I mean, like overall skill-wise, just in general, as a fighter, as a combat sports athlete, Nate Diaz is far superior in skill, experience, you name it. Being completely honest in my assessment, as I always am from my perspective, the bigger, stronger guy is going to be Jake Paul. The faster guy is going to be Jake Paul. The more explosive guy is going to be Jake Paul. The guy with the more pure knockout power is going to be Jake Paul. Actual boxing skill, I got to give it to Nate Diaz. But that's just me. With that being said, that doesn't mean that I think Nate would win a pure boxing match against Jake Paul. I think Jake Paul honestly poses a threat to Nate Diaz in a boxing ring. Not in a cage. I mean, that would be a complete squash match. Nate Diaz would abuse Jake Paul. But if we're speaking boxing ring, on one hand, I could see Nate Diaz stopping Jake Paul via Jake Paul gassing out. Nate Diaz weathering the storm, picking him apart, turning up the heat, cooking him, as they say. On another hand, call me crazy, I could see Jake Paul lighting up Nate. Nate's a human, he's not a cyborg. The punch that landed on Woolley could very well knock Nate Diaz out. Yes, I just said that. I'm a realist. He's a big boy. He does have power. Do I think that's likely? Not really, but it could happen. I just think Jake's youth and his physical dimensions, his attributes, would put him in a game in this boxing match. But once again, I think Nate Diaz is the overall more skilled individual. I would tune in. I want to see what happens. I'm not jumping for joy like, oh yeah, make this happen. But if it materializes, I'm not going to lie, I would watch. Moving on to the third topic, Conor McGregor responds to Floyd Mayweather's claims that they're going to have a rematch, another boxing fight next year, 2023. McGregor basically says he's not interested, which means they're probably going to announce the boxing match has been booked. Like, that's how that works. Conor's always retiring. He's always saying he's not going to do something and does it. With McGregor, I've learned that sometimes with him, he says one thing, does another. How many times has he retired and then comes off as he has that fire in him again to compete? I just think it's a big game. I think it's just manipulating the public. Do I think if the boxing match was really offered to him, contract in his face, do I think he would sign that piece of paper? Yes, I do. He's not stupid. He would make money in that again. Seems like a competitive individual. Highly doubt he's completely over that loss. If Mayweather says it's going to go down next year, most likely it probably is, no matter what Conor says. Unless if he's dead serious. But I'll be honest with you, at this point I really don't trust everything Conor says or take it as face value. He plays a lot of games, he stirs the public up, backtracks on things. So if he says not interested, good chance he is. Anyway guys, let me know in the comment section what do you feel about these topics. If you have any input and opinions, feel free to drop them. Whether you agree or disagree with me, all good, love to read your thoughts. First time at the channel, you enjoy the content, hit that subscribe button. If you want to show support, like and share. Thanks so much guys, and I'll catch you all on the next segment.